Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing good. So today we will discuss about what is static keyword in Java and how to use that and when we should use the static keyword. So go with definition first. The keyword static means that the particular member belong to a type itself rather than to an instance of that type. This means we will create only one instance of that static member that's shared across all instances of the class. We can make static blocks, we can make static variables, we can make static methods, we can make static classes. So let's jump into the code and try to see how it works. Like I have created a class employee, and inside employee I have employee ID, and I have employee CEO, and sorry, CEO is basically a string type, and I have salary, employee salary. Okay, I'm just creating a method so that I will print these data. So public void, I'm making show method, and inside this method I am just going to print whatever value I'm getting, like ID plus just semicolon. So CEO plus then semicolon. This called concatenation, and I have already told you how to do this. And last one is salary. Okay, salary. That's it. I'm taking this first tools. Okay, let's make an object of this class and try to print that. So I'm making object of this class, like I'm making first object name as Nikhil and new employee, and just Nikhil's ID is equal to 1, and Nikhil dot CEO is equal to Chika, and Nikhil dot salary is equal to $800 per month. I'm going to make a one more like variable which is named Vikas. Okay, such Vikas is equal to new employee, and Vikas ID is equal to 2, and Vikas dot CEO is equal to, let's say, Mahesh, and Vikas dot salary is equal to like $1,000 per month. Okay, so let's print this Nikhil dot show. This will print Nikhil data, and Vikas dot show. Okay, this will print Vikas data. Let's save this and run this. We can see, you can see like one Chika and 800, two Mahesh, 1000. This one is for Vikas and this one is for Nikhil. So let's take example when we use static. So here we are making CEO, like you can say this like Vikas CEO name is also Chika, and just try to run this, and you can see Chika. So basically when you are in a company, and I think CEO is only one who is same for all the employees. So in that case you can take that like take that variable as static, so that it will remain same for all other variables, like all other objects, because this is initialized only once, and this is the like I already read this line. This means we will create only one instance that of that static member that's shared across all the instances of the class. Basically we are making one, and it is shared all in your class. So let's save this. So once remember, like if you don't want to make variable object specific, then you can make static. So let me write for you so that you will get more understanding if, about this. Like if you want to make a variable, like if you don't want to make a variable, if you don't want to make a variable, uh, object object is specific, then you can make that static. Okay. Second point, if you make a variable, you can take, like we can take methods, we can take class, we can also make blocks, very static blocks. This will remain same for each and every one. Okay. If you make a variable static, then it will not it will not be anymore for particular object. It will it will be same for all the other object. Like and let's do this in next line so that you will other object. Okay. Like if you make a variable static, then it will not be anymore for a particular object. It will be same for all the other objects. Okay, if I make this cu static, so it will be same for all the objects, not for like if I made this static, so it will same for this, it will same for this. Like this is same for all over the object, and we don't need to, like there is one more thing. If you make any variable or any methods static, you don't need to use object for that. You can just call that using your class name, like employee dot ceo, and just mention your ceo. So let me write this for you. You can see employee dot co. This like if this one is not static, then it will shout on you. So like let me give you example. Like I'm writing employee. You can see this cat cannot make a static reference to the non-static field employee salary. Okay. So if you have a static variable, or static methods, or static blocks, you don't need to object to call that. You can just use class name for reference and you can call that. So let me make here also, like employee. Let's save this and run this. You can see it is still working. Like we can call static variable, static methods, or static blocks using class name. Okay, that's the one point. And there is one more thing. Like let me make a constructor for this. Like I'm going to make a constructor like public. You guys already know how to make a constructor. Like this should be public. This method name is same as a class name, and inside this I'm just trying to initialize initial value to everyone, like 3, id is equal to 3, and ceo, no, don't make ceo for this. I'm taking salary, salary, salary is equal to 5. Okay, basically what we are doing here. So I'm making constructor to give these variables a default value. Like we can use constructor for give any variable to default value. Like earlier, if I did not do this, then it have id is equal to 0 and co is equal to null and salary is equal to 0 as a initial value. But when I make a constructor and initialize 3 and 5, then id is for each and every case default value is id is 3, default value of salary is 5. Let me just remove this and let me show you, because just remove this because dot so just remove this and just remove this one also and just save this. And let me show how static blocks work. Like we can make a static block doing like this, and inside this we can like we can mention whatever values we want as a constant or for same including all over the class. So I'm making CEO is equal to like chica and semicolon, and just save this. And let me show one more thing. Like I am this one is this block is only called once, and this block is called when how many times you are going to make object. This block is called like if I'm making two objects here, this will get called two times. If I'm making three objects here, this will get called three times. But static blocks called only once when we run the program. So let me describe this static block like how it works in background. When you make an object, it will go to the heap memory, like heap memory. Okay, heap memory. But when we make any variable or methods static, when I make this variable static, then it will go to the class loader memory. You can say class loader. Sorry, hello ADR. Okay, then it will go to the class loader memory. It will get called first. After that, this main method will execute. So let me show you using an example. Like I am saying this inside cons means constructor, and inside this I'm going to call like inside static. Just save this and run this. You can see inside cons uh, got called two times, but inside static got called only one times. This is because a static blocks called only one times. These this don't need any object. This will get called by a class name. This we can call this using class name, and we can also call this using object. But the good way of calling static blocks is using class name. Okay, so this is this. Okay, and what any other things pending in static, we can make a static block. We don't need any class name to like we don't need any objects to call that static block. So you can see chica chica and slice for both, and this will go to the heap memory. And when we create any variable static, it will go to the class loader memory. So I think that's all for this video. And points to remember, like if you don't want to make a variable object specific, then you can make a variable static. If you make a variable static, then it will not be anymore for particular object. It will be same for all the objects. Okay. If you make a variable static, it will not go to the heap memory, will go to the class loader. And for call this static variables, we don't need object. We can call using our class name. Okay. So that's all for like I think that's enough for this video. And you try to just solve so much more examples on static blocks. You can just Google it and try to solve so many problems. You will get more clarity about this. So for now, for this video, like static is enough. Try to solve so much problems, and there is one more thing which is pending. Like static variable are same for all the objects, and non-static variable are different for all the objects. Okay, can't use non-static variable in static block. So let me give you an example how it like this is my static blocks. Okay, That's why we are making our main method static, because we don't need any object to call this main method. It will get called whenever we run program. So let me create a variable, like I am creating a variable outside of the main method. Int p is equal to 12. Okay. Can I call this int inside my main method? You can see like syso, and I'm trying to print p. You can see it is giving error and cannot make a static reference to a non-static field. So this means like you cannot use any non-static variables inside static block. So it should be static, then only you can use that block in use that variables inside static block. So that's all for this video. Try to solve so much of example, then you will get more clarity about this. So that's all for this video. Thank you.